What do you think of it so far, Mr. Maker?
Bit slow.
Hello and welcome to Podpadstudios, episode 14, in which the Electric Tron Bike is completed.
Been electrified.
Seriously?
Yeah, right, anyway. Yeah.
Seriously, we first built the Tron Bike in 2018. And
2018?
It was built on a Kawasaki ZZR 600.
Yeah.
Obviously a normal bike. And it was very successful. It went out to 7 shows. 7 shows. And take a look at this. Here's some of the footage. So why did we convert it to electric?
Weight.
Wait for what?
No, weight of the bike.
Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah, right, the ZZR weighs in around about, I don't know, 190, 200 kilos.
Oh, okay.
Which you think, all right, that's not too much problem. By the time we'd added all the aluminium and all the steel and all the other bits and pieces, it was about 250, 275 kilos. So we were loading it on the truck and we were moving it around and it was just a pain. So stripping out all the engine stripped out most of the weight.
Okay.
So, all right, the motor adds weight, and granted, the batteries do add weight.
But not as much.
Well, no, we saved huge amounts of weight on the original bike. So weight was one of the main factors.
And then I guess also in the Tron bikes, they're electric. In the Tron films, they're electric bikes.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, the problem is it's not a real film, though, is it? It's kind of a superimposed computer world.
Yeah. That first film, it was made in 1982, and it's set inside a video game where you drove the light cycles around.
Well, it was a revolutionary technique. What they did is they filmed the actors, so it was live action filming.
Yeah.
And then they superimposed the animation over the top. It's called rotoscoping.
Like with the suits and everything.
Yeah, so it was the first time it was really done like that in a major feature film. It was pretty impressive.
And that film was really cool because those bikes, they were designed by Sid Mears. He's the guy that designed the spinner and loads of other
He's designed
vehicles.
Everything.
Any vehicles in the space show, it's probably him that's designed.
He designed it at
started
some
out
point.
as an automotive designer.
Yeah.
So they were brilliant. And then they remade the film in 2010.
Yeah.
And that time, Parker Brothers made 6 of the bikes with the hubless wheels.
See,
they
that
are
film,
so cool.
Yeah, that film was very different. It's spectacular again,
Yeah.
amazing. But yeah, to see the bikes actually made full size, real from the film was amazing. But there's still a bit of a handful to drive around.
Oh yeah, it kind of had gone full circle because in the first bike everything was animated, whereas in the final film they really wanted to make it feel like a real thing, and that's why they made the bikes for real, I guess. But our bike doesn't look like either of them.
No, ours isn't a replica. It was never meant to be a replica. It's basically it's massively influenced from the 1950s. This idea of the 1950s utopian view of the future of everything sailing around, making in silver, made with battery power,
Like
solar
robotics.
panels, and that was the idea. And then it's got a bit of kind of the Egyptian thing going on,
It looks
and
like an insect
animalistic.
or a sarcophagus or a...
Well, it's also got the back of it. If you look at it from the back, it's a cobra's head.
Oh yeah.
So of course
like
that
a
was
snake.
used a lot of in Egyptian hieroglyphics and the cultures and the imagery, and it's all very kind of meshed together to create a completely
Looks
unique
cool.
bike.
Yeah.
But interestingly, the Tron thing came from all the LEDs we put on it.
Oh yeah.
We did a couple of shows, and then obviously we went out and people were like, "Oh, it's like a Tron bike. It glows in the dark," and it did, of course, because of all the aluminium and the LEDs shining off the aluminium, and that's where it ended up with the tag name Retrotron.
And then we went full circle and got to Tron.
Yeah.
So here's the last bit of how we made it into an electric bike from a normal motorbike. Look at this.
Hello builders, and it's time to get back to some building. No running around the woods and sending Mrs. Breaker into space, it's the real thing. So anyway, we are going to finish off the Tron bike at last. Cutting out an piece of old material here, piece of old aluminium. Those of you from the ex-John Bentley school might recognise, bits that you can get out of a skip, really, really useful. Anyway, plate's going to be mounted in the bike, and then we're going to mount the electronics on this plate. So it's going to be basically easy to get to everything. So we've got the plate mounted in the bike now, and we've got all the electronics mounted on the plate. Everything is actually working really, really well. Batteries are in, It's all wired up and it appears to be working. Now, in terms of kill switches, we've got obviously the main kill switch that is in there and the main fuse. What I've also decided to do is to wire it to the main run switch on the bike. So when the run switch is on, it will activate the electronic speed control when the run switch is off. And also the lighting. So obviously when the lighting on the bike is turned on, the lighting on the bike will come on as well. Because the bike ended up being a little bit heavier than we expected, I've added a reverse gear. Now, it's very, very simple, very, very easy to get to when you sat on the bike. You've got a neutral position, you've got forwards, and then you've got reverse. It's that simple. So we've got this panel obviously fits here. We're going to put all the fairing back on the bike. But this particular panel here can be removed, and then obviously we can get to the kill switches, the fuses, and all the kind of important stuff. But when it's on, it's going to look really neat, really tidy.
So the Electric Tron Bike is completed.
Yee-hee!
Yee! And we'll put all the links for all the components we used in the description of this video. And actually, if you're making any other project and you're buying components from Amazon, there's a general link there you can use. It won't cost you any more, but we'll get a tiny little reward from Amazon because we're affiliated to Amazon.
Well, you just click and buy as normal?
Yeah, you just use the link and then you search for what you want and then we will get a tiny reward.
Can I use that? Be really useful, that, wouldn't it?
So yeah, we know some of you have already done that, and thanks very much. And also, just before we go, because we're going to go in a minute, thanks so much for subscribing and sharing. We're nearly at our 500 subscribers when we will draw the first part of our prize draw, which will give away some key rings. So one lucky viewer, sharer, subscriber. If you subscribe, please make sure you make your subscriptions private, or we can't see who you are. We can't put you in the competition. And if you share, we'll put you in the pot 5 times. So that's it. I bet you're wondering, did that electric motorcycle go?
It did, kind of. No, it wasn't that. It was just, obviously the motor I've used on it isn't massive.
450 watt.
Which is, yeah, I mean, obviously on the Akira bike, we modified it and we did a lot of extra work on it to give it a lot more speed. The problem with the Akira bike is that you're lying down on it, so it's virtually impossible to get it to move at speed.
Yeah.
Or at least have the nerve to take your feet up, because you can't balance it with your hips like you do on a normal bike.
And it's scary.
Yeah, but obviously with this bike, it's not as quick, but you can actually ride it because, of course, you can balance it.
Yeah, it's cool.
But what I will do is I'll work on the gearing on that. All I need to do is change the sprocket gearing, and then I reckon it will do good speed, actually, even on that little motor.
We'll keep you posted with that, but in the meantime, here's our first couple of test rides. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Woohoo!